Bobby Lashley comes out and Bobby Lashley squashes Zack Ryder. I read an article. I read something funny that in 2019, Zack Ryder had 3 wins and 19 losses. No, 4 wins and 19 losses. 4 or 3 wins and 19 losses. That's an amazing accomplishment. I didn't even know he had that many wins. He was even, to make things even worse, he was tag team champion at one point with Kurt Hawkins. So one of those wins in 2019 was a tag team title win. Anyways, Bobby Lashley comes out. No Lana. No, Lana's nowhere to be found. For those of you unaware, Lana's working a light schedule. She'll be here and there. She's trying to work on and also a filming and acting career at the same time. So she's going to be less a part of Bobby Lashley's ongoing storylines, feuds, and managerial role, I guess. And maybe that's a good thing. We need to put the focus back on Bobby Lashley. A lot of people I know are not fans of Bobby Lashley's in-ring style, but Bobby's got a lot of good character traits. I know he's missing the mic skills, but in terms of in-ring power, aggression, and an actual wrestling talent, he is a former NCAA champion. He is also a former Bellator fighter. So he's got experience in terms of real-world fighting. Now, if we could build Bobby Lashley correctly and build an epic encounter versus Brock Lesnar, fighter versus fighter, that's the way to go. And it doesn't even have to be for the title. It could just be an old school feud with 2 men just battling. And you can have multiple matches over the year. Remember when WWE used to have like one match on one pay-per-view and then they'd skip a pay-per-view and then end up with like a tag team match. And then they'd go back to like the big pay-per-view, say SummerSlam, and it would be a rematch of whatever the match was following, let's say Mania or Survivor Series or the Rumble or Money in the Bank, whatever their big matchup was. Well, let's get back to old school storytelling. And I think that's what we could be heading in that direction. So Bobby Lashley picks up a victory over Zack Ryder. That's that. Thanks for coming, Zack. Thanks for appearing on TV, Kurt Hawkins. We'll see you next week, or maybe we'll see you next year where you'll take another loss. Who knows? One or the other. Following the Bobby Lashley matchup, we had a couple of highlight videos, one being Drew McIntyre taking out Brock Lesnar with the Claymore kick, and a recap of last week's Raw. And then we had another segment involving the Monday Night Messiah, where here comes the Monday Night Messiah, aka WWE's version, Monday Night's version of the Bullet Club, where Seth Rollins knocks on Aleister Black's door. This is the first time anyone's ever knocked on Aleister Black's door, and Aleister Black has opened it. In comes Seth Rollins, former foe of Aleister Black, Murphy, and Seth Rollins offers him an opportunity and a position within inner circle, within the Monday Night Messiah. He asks him, how do you feel about joining? Aleister explains to him that you knocked on my door, and you know what that means when you knock on my door. When you knock on my door, you're asking and you're picking a fight with me. Seth Rollins makes it very clear, Aleister, if you do not join us, if you do not side with us, you're then against us. And if you're against us, you are not safe. You have no friends, and we are your foes, and we will make your life a living hell. To which Aleister Black responds, those are fighting words. Look, I was super excited when this was announced. I was super excited after the segment, thinking to myself, my God, if these guys were given the proper amount of time to compete, they could have a hell of a match. Same with AJ. Without the goofy stuff that occurred at the Elimination Chamber, they did have a good match. But if you were to take all of that goofy stuff away and you were to say to AJ and Aleister Black, hey, go out there. Go out there and just wrestle. Cat blanche. You don't need it. There's no time limit. Go out there and have yourself a match. Same thing with Rollins. Rollins and Aleister Black could steal the show. But we'll get to what happens later on. Because now I need to cover... Now it's time to discuss the dumbest fucking match on this Raw. That's not even the dumbest match, but the dumbest fucking thing going on this Raw. So Eric Rowan at one point was being pushed, right? At one point, Eric Rowan was a part of the Wyatt family, where he was a dominant force in nature who would destroy everyone in front of him. And then, for some reason, the Wyatt family disbanded. So then Eric Rowan found himself wandering around by himself, unsure what to do, until he formed a tag team with Luke Harper, known as the Bludgeon Brothers, where they dominated the SmackDown division, tag team division. And then something happened and they disbanded, which was very unfortunate because they were very good as a tag team. And And it made no sense as to why you would disband. They were, first of all, the most dominant tag team. There was no one that would be able to stop them and defeat them. So that disbands. Rowan disappears. Rowan then comes back as Daniel Bryan's handler and friend and basically bodyguard. He's Daniel Bryan's bodyguard for about maybe 2 months before he just drops Daniel Bryan and decides to go on his own path for some reason. So Eric Rowan decides he's no longer going to be treated like shit, and he's no longer going to take orders from anyone, and he's going to be his own man. That's his words. Luke Harper returns. They form a tag team for a few minutes, and then Luke Harper disappears, and then Eric Rowan decides he's going to get himself a pet. So Rowan gets a pet. He walks around with a cage for close to 2 months, teasing what's in the cage, teasing that it's an animal, it's a snake, it's something that's going to attack people. Who knows what it could be? And then he's being pushed. He's defeating some jobbers. He's defeating Mojo Rawley and your usual suspect of people you would expect to take losses. Until 3 weeks ago, where he took a loss to Aleister Black, and then he took another loss the next week after to Aleister Black. And then here comes the following week after that, where Eric Rowan is asked what's in the cage. And he reveals what's in the cage. It's a stupid fucking robot spider. What the fuck is that? Who came up with that? Clearly, the moment I saw that robot spider, I thought to myself, we have given up on this angle. You know they're showing something this stupid because they just don't give a shit. Right? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. So then comes this week. Out comes Rowan. We know what's in there. It's a spider. Goofy Rowan comes out and he's taking on Drew McIntyre. And who's Drew McIntyre taking on at WrestleMania? Brock Lesnar. So what does that mean? That means that Drew McIntyre's probably going to beat Eric Rowan. So this match goes on. It doesn't really matter what the fuck happens in this match. All that really matters is the fact that at a certain point, Drew McIntyre decides to take the cage of the spider and he stomps on it. He destroys the cage of the spider, killing the spider, I guess, since we never see it dead due to the fact that it wasn't a real spider when it was a robot and it would look stupid staring at a robot spider dead. But Drew McIntyre stomps on this cage, killing the spider. Eric Rowan gets pissed, tries to attack Drew McIntyre, but it doesn't matter because Drew McIntyre just beats him down like a jobber, hits him with the Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3. That's 3 losses in a row for Rowan. I don't know what Rowan did to piss off someone in the WWE, or I don't know if Vince McMahon just decided he gave up on Rowan's gimmick and the spider gimmick. That's what it seems like. It seems like now Rowan is being punished for some reason. This is very unfortunate. There was something interesting going when we didn't know what was in the cage. There was a lot of mystery behind it. We were guessing and wondering, what could it be? What's in the cage? And then the spider came and the response was like, man, what the hell is this? And then we stomped on the spider. What the fuck is going on here? Is Eric Rowan being buried for some reason? Why? We devoted time to this guy being a killer, and now he's been embarrassed 4 weeks in a row. 2 losses, the reveal of the spider, the death of the spider, and we're just moving on. But what the fuck happened? I don't even know. Honestly, fuck that spider. Fuck this gimmick. If the WWE doesn't care for it, I don't care for shit either. That's it. That's all.